Hey everyone, thanks for joining Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and today I'm looking at a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called Planet Fulcrum. This is a new one by PD Games. It is a 1 to 4 player game. It takes roughly 45 minutes to an hour and a half to play. It is a competitive game where each of the players is competing against the other players to have the most points at the end of the game. So in the game itself, you are one of the select few that has been teleported mysteriously to this strange planet that has unimaginable powers, and you must prove yourself to be this planet's champion. You're going to do this by moving around the board, gaining different territories, and gaining crystals called Fulcra that you're going to spend to upgrade your abilities and be able to gain points from those. You're also going to be battling other players, potentially stealing that player's territories and trying to downgrade the other player's cards and abilities so that you have the most points at the end of the game. The player that's able to do this the best will be crowned the new champion of Planet Fulcrum. So in this video, I'm going to show you the main features of the game and show you a sample turn to help you decide whether or not this is one you want to back on Kickstarter. As always, if you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow and produce this content. If you want to stay on all my videos, also considering that bell so you get notifications anytime I release new stuff. So let's head to the table and we'll see what this one's all about. The first thing we'll look at are the characters that are included in the game. There are 4 different characters you can choose to play as, unless you want to create your own, which I'm going to show you how to do that in the next step. So we have Masuda, who is a rat. We have Sarah, the general, and finally Franklin. And each one of these cards is also double-sided, which has a solo mode as well. So if you want to play the game solo, you have the other sides of the other characters that you'll use, and each one of them will have their own objectives and their actions that they were going to try to take mainly throughout the game, as well as their different strengths and weaknesses on their cards. Now, at the start of the game, each player is going to have 5 main abilities, and those are all going to start at the same value. Throughout the game, the players are going to be able to upgrade these values by gaining control of territories within that area, which I'll show you more in a minute, and then spending Fulcra based on the level that they currently are at to upgrade to a higher level. Each one of these abilities will allow the player to do something, such as the pink ability here is for energy and is the amount of Fulcra that each ability can hold. The blue one is for resistance on defense. We have strength for attacking, intelligence that will allow you to hold more meteor cards, and finally speed, which is the number of spaces you'll be able to move. And these will go up and down throughout the game as players attack and upgrade these different abilities. Now, each player is also going to have a morality track, and each time a player takes an action, it is either going to move that marker towards the light side or the dark side. And as the players move these, then at the end of each of their rounds, they're going to look at their boards and determine if they have the majority of the tokens on one side or the other or remaining in the middle, which will determine if they become a guardian, stay a nomad, or become an overlord. And at that point, then they would shift those over depending upon where the majority lies. With this player, the majority of them are on the Guardian side, so that player would become a Guardian and would change all of their tokens over to the Guardians, and then they will have special abilities for the rest of the game as long as they remain a Guardian. Now, this can shift throughout the game as players perform different actions. They're going to move those back and forth on that track, maybe shifting over to Nomads or even Overlords. One of the other things I want to show you is character creation. So this is a newly developed thing where you can create your own character and print out your own character board and standee, which is really neat. So with this one, we would simply begin and we choose our body size. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try to make like an alien kind of Conan character. So I'm going to go with this big body size here. Then I get to progress on to the next part where we get to choose our colors and all that. So I am going to, let's make it, I'm going to go with some teal alien, and let's give him some gray. Move on to choosing a hairstyle for him. So we need there's all kinds of different ones here, so you can give him all kinds of do's and covers and everything else, which is really neat. But I'm going to go with this one here. And then for my mouth, let's give him a beard, and you can change the colors of all of these different things to tailor them to however you want as well. And we have some eyes. Let's see. I'll do that one. And we have a nose. Let's give him a big nose. shirt. Conan doesn't wear a shirt, but you have all these different options to change out and create all kinds of interesting different things. Actually, that would work really well. So I think I'm going to do that. And then we have different things here as well, different other coverings and whatnot. We have hands, so let's do these. And again, you can change the colors of all of these things, making it, really tailoring it however you want to. Yep, let's do that. And let's see, I don't think I want to change any of the pants that he wears, but you can have all kinds of different leggings and pants in that. We can give him different coverings underneath there, and again, changing those colors if we want to. And then shoes. He needs some shoes. Let's see what kind of options we have here. So we could do something like those. Ooh, these look good. Yep, that'll work. And I think that's everything. And again, like I said, you can change those colors as well. Once you're done, then you go ahead and hit that, and then we can go ahead and download this so that we can print it off. And I'll show you what this looks like. So from here, then you can print it off. This is your player board as well as your standee that you can cut out, and you have your character. Throughout the game, the players are going to be moving around these different territories, and depending upon the location that they stop on, they'll be able to perform a variety of different actions, such as stopping on a space that has a territory token will allow you to potentially capture that or steal it from another player if that territory has already been taken. If you stop on a location that has a portal, you can teleport to another location that has an open portal around the board. Or stopping on a meteor site will allow you to gain more meteor cards, or going to the center location will get you fulcra of that location's color, and you can use that to upgrade your different ability if you have the requirements for that, as well as doing other things such as landing on the same space as another player will allow you to battle that player, potentially lowering their ability in that location, and doing a variety of other actions. And the final thing I want to show you is a sample round in action. Now, before getting into that, I do want to mention that all the materials you see here are prototype materials and are subject to change and will look a lot better in the final production copy. With that being said, let's move into the game, where Sarah's going to start off as she drew the blue cube during setup, so she is going to be the starting player. From her, it's going to proceed in a clockwise manner, bouncing back and forth where each player will take their turn. Each player's turn is broken down into 3 phases, with the first phase being the movement phase, where that player is going to consult their speed rating and determine the number of spaces they can move. So with Sarah, she can move up to 3 spaces, and she has 3 fulcrum cubes in the blue region already, so she's going to try to she wants to gather a territory. So she's going to move 2 spaces into territory F so that she can gain that. So then from there, once she has completed her movements, then she'll move into the second phase of her turn, which is the action phase, where she can perform 1 and only 1 action. So at that location, she can choose to gain control of that territory. She's going to do this by spending a number of fulcrum cubes based on that region where your current ability card is. So currently she has a 3 rating, so she must discard 3 cubes in order to gain that territory, where she's going to take that and place that on her area. And then she's also going to mark that territory with her faction token. So right now she is in the Nomads faction, as she is neutral. And the third phase of her turn is to check her morality check and adjust it. So during this phase, she is going to consult the track, and based on the action that she took previously, it's going to determine which way she's going to slide her marker. So with her, she took the control vacant action, so she's going to move this over 3 spaces, as that is her rating on that. Once she's done with that, then she's finally going to consult her board and determine if she has defected to a new faction, where she's going to look and see if the majority of the tokens are in one faction that she currently is not. So right now she is a nomad, but if she had more in the Guardian faction, she would defect to the Guardians and become a Guardian. Now this will alternate throughout the game as players move around and do different actions. So at this point, her turn is done, so then we move over to the other player to take his turn. So he's pretty much going to do the same thing initially, so he's going to move here and spend his 3 there to gain this territory. And then he's going to also mark with his token, and he is also a nomad at this point. Then he'll move that over as well, and it'll move back over to our starting player. So during her turn now, she is going to, let's go ahead and move into here. That will gain her 3 tokens, or 3 Fulcra crystals of that region, as she has, her energy level is 3, so that's the maximum she can hold and gain. So then she'll place those in here, and then she is going to spend those immediately to upgrade. So then she is going to flip these over and upgrade to the number 4, as she has she controls 1 territory, and she has 3 crystals that she'll have to spend in order to upgrade that. So now she is a level 4, and that's going to help her on defense if she gets into battle situations and she's a defender. That is all she can do with that. So then again, we are going to adjust her board. So we have the Fulcra. So again, she did 3, so we'll move that over. And she still does not have a majority in there, so she is going to remain a nomad for right now. Moving over to the other player now, he's going to move up here, and then he is going to gain Fulcra of another region except for the green region. So he's going to go ahead and go with some black Fulcra so that he can work on his strength, and he can gain a maximum of whatever his purple Fulcra is, which is 3 right now, so he can gain up to 3 Fulcra crystals of strength. Then again, he's going to adjust his board as well, so he also gained Fulcra, so he will go 3 towards the Guardians. From there, it'll move back over to the other player, and this is going to continue going back and forth until all of the territories have a controlling player, a player that has the territories locked down. The one last thing I do want to show you is how a battle works, as it is always fun to get into battles with other players, and this is going to be an important part of the game where you'll be able to, again, try to control other players, doing damage to them, being able to gain Fulcra for winning, and being able to reduce your opponent's scores in those different areas or their different abilities. So for this example, let's go ahead and say that both of our characters were here, and our Sarah moved in to initiate the battle with the other player. At that point, then Sarah has to tell the other player whether she's going to be the attacker or defender. And so with Sarah, she's going to be the defender, as she has a higher rating in defense in that, and she might have some cards that can help her with that as well. Now, an important thing to point out with this is, depending upon your allegiance, that is also going to depend on what kind of cards you can play. As both of our players are still nomads, they're able to play both light and dark cards. But if one of our players was, say, a guardian, then they could only play light-sided cards, or if they were part of the dark overlords, then they could only play the dark cards. So with that, then Sarah is going to be the defender, so our attacking player is going to go first. He starts off by looking at his attack strength, which is 3, and then he also gets to add strength for the current location, which is also 3, so he is at 6 currently. Then he can play cards from his hand. He can play any number of cards, so he's going to play a Warhammer and a second Warhammer, so that's going to put him up to 14 points for his attack. Then it's going to move over to the defending player. That defending player is going to reference the location she's currently at, which is 4. And then she's also going to add her defensive value, which happens to be the same location, so it's simply going to double to 8. Then again, she can choose to play any cards that she wants to on her side. She does have a defense card, so she's going to play a shield, which is going to add 4 more, which will put her up to 12 points. Once she has completed playing any cards that she wants to, then both players will compare their scores. With us having 14 to 12, our attacking player won the battle. So in that situation, then that player is going to gain a number of Fulcra cubes of that location up to their max, so he's going to gain 3 cubes. Then the losing player is going to have to reduce their ability by 1 point, so she's going to drop back down to a 3 in that region. And also, if she had controlled more territories than she can currently control, so if she had 2 territories and she went back down to a 3, she would have to choose one of those to lose at that point as well. From there, then again, our players would adjust, or the player whose turn it is would adjust their board as normal, and then you would continue on with the game. And then at the end of the game, you're going to total up all your points. You're going to get 2 points for each territory token that you have on your board. If you control all 3 territory points of a region, you're going to get 4 additional points. You're also going to get points for each one of your abilities based on the number that you have. So, for example, this player right now would have 15 points. You also gain 1 point for each Fulcrum crystal you have, and 1 point for each meteor card in your hand. The player that has the most points will be the winner of the game. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or swing by the Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creators would love to hear from you and are more than happy to answer any questions you have. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos and leave me feedback on them. I do really appreciate it and I take into account everything you say to make the best possible videos. And until next time, I'll see you later.